This is your second stimulus check update and your stimulus package update as of Tuesday, July 28th. This is your stimulus update, and happy Tuesday. Let me save you some time and bring you up to speed. We're all waiting for the next stimulus package to pass. 2 months ago, the Democrats, they released their version of the stimulus package known as the HEROES Act. Yesterday, the Republicans, they released their version of the stimulus package known as the HEALS Act. Now, the Republicans and Democrats, they need to negotiate and determine what goes into the final stimulus package. The Republicans, they want to spend $1 trillion. The Democrats, they want to spend $3 trillion. You want to know what you will receive in the next stimulus package. I'll put it like this. You can think of the Republican proposal as the minimum you would receive. You can think of the Democratic proposal as the maximum you would receive. We'll use unemployment benefits as an example. The Republicans, they want to extend the unemployment benefits for $200 a week. The Democrats, they want to extend the unemployment benefits for $600 a week. The Republicans and Democrats, they will negotiate and determine the final amounts of how much the unemployment benefits will be extended for. But you can safely conclude that the final value will be between the Republican value of a minimum $200 a week or the Democratic value of a maximum of $600 a week. That is what you can expect. While we are talking about unemployment, let me give you some further details about the unemployment benefits in the HEALS Act. The Republicans, they want to extend unemployment benefits for $200 a week until October 5th. After October 5th, they want to continue the unemployment benefits, but have that unemployment benefit be based off of how much you were making previously while you were working. The Democrats, they want to simply extend the unemployment benefits for the $600 a week until January. Therefore, the Democrats and Republicans, they will need to reconcile this issue and work it out. Let's move on to the stimulus check. The Republican version gives a $1,200 stimulus check and $500 per dependent. This version allows you to claim adult dependents. The Democrat version gives you a $1,200 stimulus check and $1,200 per dependent. This version also allows you to claim adult dependents as well. The income limitations that apply are the same as the previous stimulus check. The stimulus check, this one should be easy to negotiate because they are very similar, the Republican version and the Democrat version. Therefore, you can most likely expect a second stimulus check and that amount to be $1,200. When it comes to eviction protection for renters, the Republican version provides no protection. Larry Kudlow said a few days ago that they would extend the eviction protection. However, that was not included in the Republican version. The Democrat version extends the eviction protection. This will definitely be an area of conflict between the Republicans and the Democrats. When it comes to funding for state and local governments, the Democrat version gives $1 trillion of aid to help out state and local governments. The Republican version gives $0. Instead, the Republican version says that state and local governments can use the $150 billion of unspent money from the previous stimulus package for state and local governments to use it on their budget shortfalls. This issue for state and local government assistance, this is expected to cause a lot of conflict between the Republicans and Democrats. For liability protection and COVID-19 lawsuits, the Republicans, they want to give a 5-year liability shield to businesses, schools, and medical facilities. It would be very difficult to sue these institutions successfully for COVID-19 lawsuits. They would only be found liable if you could prove gross negligence or intentional misconduct. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said that the Republicans refused to pass a bill without liability protection. The Democrats, they're fighting back against this because they say that this prioritizes big businesses and special interest. So the question is, how are the negotiations going? The leaders of the Republican team and the leaders of the Democrat team, they met last night to hash out the details. It went poorly. It simply did not go well. Chuck Schumer, leader of the Democrats in the Senate, said on a CBS interview this morning, "We are far apart. The Republican version is stingy. The negotiations were disappointing." Schumer said there's no money for food stamps, but there's a tax deduction for a 3-martini lunch for a businessman. As a certified public accountant, I can actually confirm that that statement is factually correct. Schumer also said that there are big cushions for defense contractors and no cushions for people being kicked out of their house. The Democrats are also pointing out attempts for special interest or wasteful spending, such as the construction of the FBI headquarters to be built next to President Trump's hotel in order to prevent any competing hotels to be built next to President Trump's hotel. That is where we currently stand between the Republicans and the Democrats for the stimulus package. I hope that brings you up to speed. The leaders of the Republicans and the leaders of the Democrats, they will resume negotiations today and for the rest of the week. Let's take a look at the COVID-19 news. The good news is that the United States as a whole is doing better this week, and we hope that trend continues. The rate of infections are slowing in Arizona, Florida, and Texas. The U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services said yesterday that we are starting to see a leveling off of cases. However, some states, they're still rolling back or slowing down on the reopenings. In Kentucky, for example, bars were ordered to shut down and restaurants must reduce their indoor dining capacity to 25%. Fortunately, this rollback for them is only for 2 weeks, but we're seeing more cities and states mandating rollbacks as a preventative measure, which just happened in my city of Chicago. We hope to see more positive news against the fight with COVID-19. That's the news for today. Please subscribe and I will keep you updated. I'll save you some time and I'll give you any advice when applicable. Thank you so much and please stay safe.